pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Riley. Thank you, Ms. Riley. Before I convene the meeting, I want to state that each member of the board and each audience participant here this evening has been screened, and we've had our temperature checked, and everyone, if you're here, you passed the tests. So you are welcome, if you're properly socially and physically distanced, to remove your masks if you feel comfortable. Please take a moment and silence your cell phones. And also, before we convene, I want to read a brief statement. 11 days ago, I very hastily read a public social media posting from someone I did not know, and I did not give it any further consideration or thought about what it might be implying to any subsequent reader, and I hit share. And that was wrong. It was a stupid thing to do. And I read that meme more carefully later that afternoon when I received a phone call. And I was very embarrassed that I had shared that post. I immediately deleted it. I issued a public apology. And the question is, was it just a careless mistake, or was there some degree of subconscious bias that caused me to hit share? And that's the discussion and the challenge that I'm trying to uncover. I invited anyone offended to connect with me and to have a deeper conversation with me about how that meme impacted them. And I'm greatly appreciative of the members of the public who contacted me and in good faith talked with me and shared how that meme affected them. I heard them, and again, I was very embarrassed that I insulted and offended them. I've also reached out to members of the civic and religious communities of the African American community. We've had some good discussions, and I've heard them too. I own my mistakes, and I work hard to make amends where I can. I've apologized publicly in several forums, in a public meeting of our board, and privately to those who've reached out. And I know that there will be, for some, whatever words I use, it just won't be enough. And that unforgiveness perpetuates this division and this politically charged climate that we're in. And for us to come together to address issues like this in a constructive manner and to work together in harmony towards improvement, it takes all of us. Finally, I want to thank my friends, family, and community leaders who've reached out to me with words of hope and encouragement. They're the ones who know that my careless resharing of that offensive post does not reflect my true values. Between my wife and I, we have over 50 years of service to the FSSD. And I would hate to think that that dedication is overshadowed by this single momentary lapse in judgment. Again, I apologize, and I've been blessed to have been chair of this esteemed body for 6 years. And in light of this incident and in light of this past week, it's time for new leadership. So tonight, as we do in every September board meeting, we'll be electing new leadership. So please, as we do at the beginning of every meeting, pause with me for a moment of silence for our students, our parents, our teachers, our faculty, staff, administration, and for our schools. Thank you very much. Dr. Snowden.
Yes, we're very honored tonight. We have an oath of office for our 3 recently re-elected board members, We're honored to have Chief Justice of the Tennessee Supreme Court, Jeff Bivens, who will administer the oath of office to our members. Also, they will be presented with a signed copy of their oath of office. Certificates of election will be forthcoming from the Election Commission when they are signed by the board. So we'd like to congratulate Mr. Blair, Dr. Barker, and Mr. Townsend.
Mr. Chairman, glad to be with you tonight. Thank you for the honor of being here with the group, having two children who graduated through the Franklin Special School District. It has a special place in my heart, so we're glad to be here with you tonight. If re-elected members would please stand. You raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, and state your name,
I, Ted Blair,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of Tennessee,
and the Constitution of the State of Tennessee,
and that I will perform with fidelity
and I will perform with fidelity
and to the best of my skill and ability
and to the best of my ability
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as a school board member
as a school board member
of the Franklin Special School District.
of the Franklin Special School District.
So help me God.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Justice. You're going to say the whole meeting, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. Time's a late game.
Dr. Snowden, would you like to take the next part of the meeting, please?
I will. It's time now for the 2021 election of board officers. Board Policy 1.200 establishes September as the date that the board organizes through the election of a chairman, secretary, and treasurer. We're going to open the floor now for either individual nominations for the chair, or if there is a nomination for a slate of officers, we will entertain that slate.
I'd like to nominate a slate of officers for the upcoming year. I'd like to nominate Robert Blair as chair, Dr. Alicia Barker as vice chair, Kevin Townsend, secretary, and Alina Bell as treasurer. And I have already spoken with Alina. I don't know if she's on
She is on.
tonight, and I know she's agreeable to that.
I would like to second that nomination, please.
Are there any other nominations for officers for the Franklin Special School District? And I'm told I'm supposed to ask that more than once. So, are there any other nominations for officers of the Franklin Special School District? If not, the nomination process is closed. All in favor of the slate of officers that have been nominated, please say aye.
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 Okay, it's unanimous. Congratulations.
A point of personal privilege here. May I have an opportunity to pass the nuclear football here? Congratulations. All right.
struggle to pay for MAC services and who are in need of support. In addition to scholarships, the grant will be used to support academic tutoring in math, in reading, homework assistance, as well as provide funding for several new enrichment classes, including Lego, education robotics, STEM's hands-on science and technology classes, and my favorite, Frisbee golf. So, thank you, Ms. Parks. Appreciate it. Thank you to all of those who were awarded tonight. We always appreciate that, and that's something we certainly enjoy doing. At this time, we have the podium available for public input. Let me just make a quick announcement about public input. You must be a resident of the Franklin Special School District, and if you are speaking, please put your address down, your name as well. There's 3 minutes for public input. Our Secretary, Mr. Kevin Townsend, will be keeping the minutes, and our public input session will last for 20 minutes, or if there's not enough time for that, then that will be all we'll have to convene. Also, in light of that, Ms. Townsend has the clock for that. And just to let you know, in public input with Franklin Special School District, your comments are directed toward the chairman and the board, and we take those very seriously. We listen to those, but we do not go back and forth. It is not a question or answer, and it's not a time for discussion. But again, we do listen to those, and we appreciate you standing up, taking the time, and engage with public comment. So the podium is that it? Okay, okay. So the podium is to my right. Thank you. And again, please sign in your name and address.
Hi, my name is Betsy Vernon. I am an FSSD parent. I have children both here at the wonderful Franklin Elementary as well as at Franklin Intermediate. And I appreciate the opportunity to make a public statement about the agenda you'll be discussing tonight. As an FSSD parent and an engaged member of the Franklin community, I've committed to stop my own silence on actions which promote systematic bias, injustice, and hatred based on race, gender, sex, religion, and ability. We are in a time of great divide. Us and our children are witnessing both the horror of violence and injustice against people of color and other minority groups, and a raising of voices in unity to stand in support to end racial injustice, hatred, and intolerance. As a district, we should recognize our ability to be a leader in the fight for equality and kindness for all within our community, and to truly live our credo of be kind. We should recognize that acts of intolerance or injustice are opportunities for us to be better as a whole, and not the place for excuses or inaction. We ask our children to be intentional and thoughtful with their words and actions. We have to expect the same from our parents, teachers, administrators, and board. To this end, I'm asking the board to address the following in tonight's meeting and in future discussion regarding behavioral policies for FSSD. Number one, I ask the board to adopt a policy across the district which clearly denounces any behavior which promotes bias, injustice, or hatred by any member of the FSSD community, including students, staff, teachers, administrators, board members, and parents. I ask the board to provide a clear process for these behaviors to be reported to the board and director of schools by any member of the public or the FSSD community. I ask the board for an agenda item to be added to all future board meetings to review the reported behaviors and the actions taken to address them. Number four, to provide a clear process for investigation of such behaviors, including engagement of proper law enforcement or judicial entities to investigate all incidents of hacking, cyber attacks, or cyberbullying. To ensure appropriate action sex, religion, and ability. I very much appreciate your attention to this matter. I'm incredibly blessed to live in a district which has provided a safe and diverse environment in which to educate my children. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Dustin Cochter, and I live in Franklin, and I have 3 children at Moore Elementary School. In June, a vigil for Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd was held in the parking lot at First Missionary Baptist Church here in Franklin. Before a crowd of several hundred people, I shared the following words. There's no such thing as passive resistance to fighting racism. We have to get off the sidelines, identify and challenge racist systems and policies, and hold our family, friends, and those in power accountable for the roles that they play in allowing these issues to continue. The last part is why I'm here tonight. In response to Mr. Stillings' racist and unprofessional Facebook post, my wife and I shared our views in emails to the school board and Dr. Snowden. Now I want to address the next steps in accountability. Sharing a racist meme is wrong and inappropriate, especially from an influential member of the community and an elected official. I'm thankful Mr. Stillings apologized, but it's not okay, and what he shared should not be swept under the rug. Doing so is why these issues of racism in our schools, our communities, and our country continue day after day. Sharing this meme was not the mistake. To me, the mistake was that he sprung a leak and gave us a glimpse of how he really feels about all of this. As long as Mr. Stillings sits on this board, I have no confidence that complaints of racial discrimination and experiences with racism in our schools will be taken seriously. If it's okay for him to do it and still keep a seat on the board, then how much leeway will we give our faculty, staff, and students in our schools? There should be zero tolerance for this behavior, so the just move forward is removal or voluntary resignation. With everything going on this year, the last 5 years, the last 10 years, however far back you want to go, we don't have time for you to have your aha moment to better understand racism and how what you shared was offensive, nor should it be the burden of African Americans to explain this to you. There are plenty of books, documentaries, and other resources out there, so all of us have already been doing this important work already. This lack of understanding and you have not been paying attention, or you have actively chosen not to learn and grow.
or would become exacerbated by mask wearing. Okay? Do I still have the ability to talk? Yeah, okay, thanks. What long-term scientific studies did the Health Committee have of elementary school-aged children wearing masks and disrupting oxygen flow and CO2 evaporation that led them to their decision?
I'm sorry. What I was saying was you had to
3
wrap
minutes.
up.
What's that?
We're at 3 minutes. You have to wrap up.
Let me wrap up here. I'll do that for you. Until a couple of days ago, I didn't see one preventative strategy from Franklin Special on how to keep your kids well. The focus was all, hey, just wear your mask. That makes sense. What I feel like the focus should be on is how can we create a healthier body, which is in fact led by your immune system. It's scientific. Your immune system is what keeps you well. And until a couple of days ago, I saw a hydration campaign, which was exciting. It was wonderful. I would like to sponsor one of the fountains at Moore Elementary. I feel like it would be wonderful. I feel like I can get behind that. That's wonderful. I'd love my kids to be able to access high quality water and would love to sponsor it. And the last thing I want to say, guys, and for you guys to consider, is I feel like in Williamson County, and according to the mayor and according to the governor, an estimated timeline and an extensive statement should be released by the Franklin Special School District on when the mask mandate should end, just like every other governing authority has also offered. Okay?
Gotta wrap it up.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We have to be respectful of everybody else. We asked to do 3 minutes.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate
So thank you. Is there anyone else?
Hi, my name is Walter Simmons. I have a spouse that works in Franklin Special School District. My son came out of Franklin Special School District, and I pastor kids in Franklin Special School District. I'm here in representation tonight of the African American religious community, the Franklin Justice Equity Coalition, and the African American teachers in FSSD. I'm a little bothered, as some of my constituents have already noted, that we are dealing with this issue. On the week that Poplar Grove Elementary on a brand new gymnasium, we were receiving emails, text messages, phone calls about a racist comment from Facebook. I know remorse and here apologize, but I still have another issue that free housing, fleet, blah, blah, blah. This isn't an instance of a mistake. This is an instance of error. I am a veteran of the United States Army, served in the 3rd Infantry Division under Colonel General Honorary, and any leader would not allow a mandate to be put on this issue that is a win. It is time not to pour just the things that we believe are correct, but it's now the time to step up and be a leader. James Baldwin says, when people show you who they are, you need to believe them. And not to be able to get Mr. Stillings to resign is a problem for the African American religious community, the African American teachers, and it should be an issue for our community. This is not a problem of once. It's going to happen again. And what we need to do is ask furthermore questions of why do we continue to do what we do, how we do it. This board should not have to continue to answer questions, emails, texts. When Mr. Stillings is the board chair, or formerly the board chair, when he, in his leadership, he should have already decided this doesn't look good for my total team. See, sometimes you have to take one from the team, and the apology is great. We thank you for that. But we have to deal with reductionist repentance. We cannot have pacification discipline. We must stand up and do the right thing. This is what we require out of our children, so we should require it out of our adults also. To meet with one African American leader who did not even know of the issue is not good. To even meet with a non-African American religious leader who then sent you, that's not good. If Mr. Stillings was serious, he would have not have made the statement. On September 3rd, he made one statement. But on June 30th, he made another one. The emails, the texts, and the phone calls should be problematic for the board, and we should do more about that. We are asking Mr. Stillings to respectfully resign.
first.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. I did not prepare a written statement. I just wanted, and I didn't have the opportunity to talk with you over the weekend. My son was home from college, and then also where there was a big family wedding. We had a very busy week. I know you from Rotary, we're in the same club, and I'm not a perfect person. You're not a perfect person. Nobody in this room is a perfect person. But the comments were
incredibly surprising to me, coming from someone that I've known for years. And then when I heard about the other Facebook post, I just thought, wow, you know. What comes to me is tone deaf, that you don't really understand what your words do, not just to me as a parent. I have 3 African-American grandchildren that attend this school, Franklin Elementary, and if they were ever to hear any of the things that you have said, that you put on your Facebook post, and the other one now that I've known about, shame on you. You've been on this board for a long time, and that's something that I'm making a suggestion. Y'all can do what you want as a board, is something called term limits. I think that is a very healthy and productive way of letting different people in the community have opportunities to serve as leaders, instead of having people who are serving upwards of 20 years. That's just a little sidebar. But the other thing I thought of is going back to, we're in Rotary together. And for those of you who are not familiar with Rotary, and we have something called the 4-way test. And it's supposed to guide you in making decisions. And so the first question is it the truth? Is it the truth? And the second one, I don't know how long, I don't want to go over. How many minutes do I have? 10 seconds. The second one is it beneficial to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? I think I may have said those in out of order, but nothing from the 4-way test as a Rotarian and as a person and as a human and as a father, and I don't know if you're a granddad too, I'm just real disappointed, and I'm sad to see this part of you, and I hope that you will strive to be your best, and I will respectfully now put the mic down.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Seeing no one else, the public input is now closed. Thank you. At this time, let's just take a brief recess before we go into the next part of our board meeting. Thank you.
And Robert, before you please say this, Robert said I was going to take the minutes. He didn't actually mean minutes of what you say, but we would like to capture that. If you have prepared statements and you want to leave them at the podium, that'd be fine. If you don't, that's fine. If you do, so leave them that way. quickly.
Have been highlighted, and the urgency to close those gaps with the most effective instructional strategies and materials is even more pressing. This is particularly Department of Education, the TDOE, produced a template and a rubric on June 26, 2020. You can access the CLP rubric and template at the links that have been provided. In the CLP, school districts were required to utilize the template and rubric to outline extremely detailed plans, resources, and key personnel for 7 areas: programmatic model, standards-based instruction, attendance, instructional technology, professional development specifically for remote teaching and learning, implementation monitoring, and communications.
The CLP delineates each component of the work that was necessary to safely reopen schools, and it ensures that comprehensive plans are in place for each student to receive academic instruction daily, whether in person at school or virtually at home. To quote the CLP page on the TDOE website, the CLP is intended to address how a local education agency, LEA, will continue to provide quality instruction to students in the event of COVID-19 related disruptions to traditional school operations during the 2020-21 school year. Approved CLPs would ensure that LEAs can count days when instruction was provided toward the 180-day requirement in the law pursuant to the CLP, and that LEAs will be able to continue receiving BEP funding in remote learning environments. The Franklin Special School District's CLP was submitted with more than 75 artifacts on August 14th and was approved by the TDOE on August 17th on the first submission with no corrections or revisions. The plan can be viewed at the link provided. A heartfelt thank you goes to the teaching and learning team for their tremendous coordinated effort in producing an exemplary CLP. Thank you.
Any questions for Dr. Decker? Thank you. Construction, Dr. Esslinger.
Good evening, everyone. Included in your board packet is your monthly report, an update on our significant building projects that are going on in our district, and I'll entertain any questions you may have about any one of those at this time.
Any questions for Dr. Esslinger? Thank you, sir. Next three items, as we traditionally do, we also need to fill some spots. The first one is the Community Pre-K Advisory Council Board Representative. Ms. Newman served this position last year. Are you interested or?
I don't understand who this is, until you tell me that.
I think I'm going to go in a different direction, so I'm going to allow someone else to serve on the committee. I've also enjoyed it, though, so thank you for having me.
I'd be interested.
Mr. Townsend? Okay. So Mr. Townsend has agreed, so he's it. You have a meeting in the morning, so. Thank you, Mr. Townsend, and thank you for serving, Robin. The next one is we need the legislative liaison. Dr. Barker served last year. Is there anyone interested in taking that position?
I think I'll go ahead and take that position if Dr. Barker wants to give it up.
It's good, but you can have it.
Okay. Dr. Barker yields to Ms. Newman. So again, thank you, Dr. Barker, for your service, and Ms. Newman, look forward to you filling that position. Also, our TSBA convention delegates, Ms. Bell, I believe you've already consented.
Yes.
Okay. Are there others interested in being a delegate at the TSBA convention?
I'll be one.
Okay, we have Dr. Barker. Anyone else?
How many are there?
3.
I'm interested.
Okay. Dr. Townsend, again, has decided to do that.
Is it 7 a.m. tomorrow as well?
That's at 8. All right, thank you. We fulfill those positions. Appreciate everybody doing that. Approval of the board agenda, Dr. Snowden?
No changes.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the board agenda?
I'll second.
Second. Motion by Mr. Townsend, second by Dr. Barker. Any other discussion? No added items? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, consent agenda. A motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay. All right, Ms. Bell has the motion and Ms. Newman has the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All righty. Business before the board, Dr. Snowden.
Yes, item number 1 is a bond refunding resolution. A resolution is the next step in the process for the advanced refunding of all or a portion of the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $14,860,000 of the Series 2014 bonds and the Series 2016 bonds dated September 4th, 2014 and May 18, 2016, respectively. The purpose of the possible savings or the refunding. The purpose of the refunding is the monetary savings. The present value savings is estimated to be between $700,000 and $800,000. Also, even if this resolution is passed, if the market changes significantly prior to the actual refunding, the district does not have to complete the transaction. Mr. Whit Maloney, Senior Vice President of Piper Sandler, is here tonight to answer any questions related to the resolution and the process. We do recommend approval of the resolution.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Mr. Townsend makes a motion. Dr. Barker seconds. Any discussion? If not,
So I had a quick question. Is there a time frame as to when we would do this? Like if we approve it tonight, then is there a time frame as to when it gets
Mr.
done?
Maloney's coming forward to
all right.
answer those questions.
The time frame is we were working on the offering document, which is the document that investors look at. We would submit that along with bond resolutions, the district audits to Moody's. And that's, once you get stuff in front of Moody's, it's about a 2-week process. We could probably have this done within 4 to 6 weeks if market conditions are favorable.
May I ask a question also? Since we had our discussions, me, you, and Dr. Esslinger a few weeks ago, has the market changed significantly?
Stable.
Stable?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, we have a motion, have a second. No other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
We've got to do a roll call.
Actually, do we, Dr. Snow, we're not spending money?
Well, you're not spending money, you're saving money, but if you want to do a roll call, you're certainly, that's fine. Roll call's perfect.
Roll call. Let's roll call it. Let's start with Mr. Townsend.
Yes.
Ms. Dillon? Yes. Mr. Blair says yes.
Alicia Barker, yes.
Robin Newman, yes.
Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we approve. Thank you, sir. All right. Dr. Snow?
Next is our annual contract to audit accounts. Matlock Clements, PC, has provided the contracts to conduct financial audits of the district for the period of July 1, 2020 through June 30th of 2021 at a fixed auditor fee of $28,500. The fee is the same amount that has been in our contracts for the past 8 years. There are 2 contracts, one for the district accounts and one for the individual school activity funds. We recommend approval.
All right. A motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
Okay, Ms. Newman, second.
I'll second.
All right, Ms. Townsend, any discussion? And this one we will do another roll call. Ms. Bell, can we start with you?
Yes.
Ms. Townsend?
Kevin Townsend, yes.
Mr. Stillings?
Yes.
Robert Blair, yes.
Alicia Barker, yes.
Robin Newman, yes.
All right, we're approved. Thank you. Next, we have a series of policy revisions.
Well, no, we have one more resolution.
Oh, one more, I'm sorry.
Item number 3 is a resolution in support of BEP hold harmless legislation for the 21-22 school year. Since the BEP funding is based on the previous year, our funding for this year is based on 1920 average daily attendance. We have presented for your approval and signature as a resolution for public school districts to be held harmless for the decrease in student populations for the 2020-21 school year due to COVID-19, which will affect the 21-22 school year budget. We recommend approval.
I make a motion we approve. Ms. Newman seconds. Any discussion?
I just had a quick question. We are counting students so that our virtual learners is counted in the daily attendance, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
But some,
Some have withdrawn.
well, and some school districts are experiencing, due to the state board requirements of 6.5 hours of instruction per day, that's a lot for virtual, and I mean, we think our teachers doing an awesome job. However, homeschool does not require that many hours, so some parents are choosing homeschool over virtual instruction. I don't know how many in our district are doing that, but school districts are experiencing that phenomenon since the school year started.
Any other discussion? All right, we had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Dr. Snowden?
Yes, item number 4 is one of the first of our policy revisions. Transfers within the system, 6.206. This is a first reading. The revision request is to update the policy to current procedure and also to clarify language. We do recommend approval.
A motion to approve? Ms. Newman, second. Ms. Dr. Barker, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Dr. Snow?
Item number 5 is a new policy, Title IX and Sexual Harassment, 6.3041. This is also a first reading. The U.S. Department of Education has recently released updated Title IX regulation effective as of August 14th that requires school districts to respond to allegations of sexual harassment in very specific ways. TSBA has reviewed these regulations and created a new model policy to align with the updated requirements. Per TSBA, because the new regulations go into more detail about what is required of school districts when they respond to claims of sexual harassment, TSBA has created a standalone model policy to align with those requirements. Fully complying with the new regulations will require a combination of reviewing and updating current policies and procedures, training staff, and ensuring that appropriate notification of these changes are publicized to the community. The administration recommends approval.
All right, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Ms. Bell, is there a second? I will second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Can we waive,
Go ahead.
can we waive first reading?
Second reading.
Second reading, sorry.
That's up to the board. I mean, we're amenable to that.
Okay, motion to approve and waive second reading.
All right, and my second remains, so we'll waive second reading. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Dr. Snowden?
Item number 6 is a policy revision, student discrimination, harassment, bullying, cyberbullying, and intimidation, 6.304. This is also a first reading. This policy revision updates language for clarity. It is a recommended update from TSBA of note to highlight the differences between this and the Title IX and sexual harassment policy. The administration recommends approval.
I make a motion that we approve. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Newman. Any discussion? Was that
I just wanted to clarify that this is TSBA recommended to help delineate from the policy that we just reviewed. Is that correct, Dr.
Correct.
Snowden?
That is correct.
Okay.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Dr. Snowden?
Item number 7, policy revision, student concern 6.305, also a first reading. As part of our policy subscription with TSBA, this policy was reviewed in conjunction with the creation of the Title IX policy for the first reading at this month's meeting. The revision is suggested by the TSBA Policy Department to avoid creating conflicts with other policies in this section, becoming more condensed and focused on responding to general student complaints rather than creating a formal grievance process. The title also changes with this revision request. A standard form for filing concern with the school will be available in our district procedures manual, which is currently in process for district use. The administration recommends approval.
There a motion?
I'd give a motion to approve on first reading and waiving second reading.
Mr. Townsend, is there a second to that?
Second.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Ms. Bell, second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Dr. Snowden?
Item number 8 is policy revision, zero tolerance offenses, 6.309. This is also a first reading. This revision request is part of the updates with the group of student discipline policy, which includes 6.316, 6.317, and 6.319. This policy has been reviewed and rewritten by TSBA to streamline the language and to ensure there are no conflicts with the update in law. Legal and cross-references have also been updated. The administration recommends approval.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve and waive second reading.
Mr. Townsend made a motion and waive. Is there a second? Dr. Barker has second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Dr. Snowden?
Yes, item number 9, policy revision, suspension, expulsion, remand, 6.316. This is also a first reading. Excuse me. With the recent review of student discipline policies by TSBA, this policy is being presented, adding additional language for suspension longer than 5 and longer than 10 days, as well as reference updates to current law. Procedures in this policy will be available in our district procedures manual. The administration recommends approval.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Ms. Newman, motion. Is there a second? Dr. Barker, second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Dr. Snowden?
Item number 10, policy revision, student disciplinary hearing authority. This is also a first reading. This revision request is part of the updates, again, with a group of student discipline policies. This policy has been reviewed and streamlined by TSBA to ensure there are no conflicts with the update in law, along with updating references. We recommend approval.
Make a motion, we approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bell. Any discussion? Not? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you.
Item number 11 is a policy revision, alternative education, 6.319. Also first reading, TSBA recommends revision of our current policy based on the recent passage of the General Assembly's Public Chapter 603, which clarifies that students who commit zero tolerance offenses are not required to be placed in alternative schools or programs. Additionally, the State Board recently approved a regulation clarifying the differences between alternative schools and programs, as well as the reasons that may justify removing a student from an alternative school or program. This policy also changes its name from alternative school programs to alternative education to align with the updates. The administration recommends approval.
There a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Ms. Newman, second by Dr. Barker. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Thank you, sir. Director of Schools report, Dr. Snowden.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Grades 3 through 8 students returned to in-person learning on August the 24th. The return for our students in grades 3 through 8, other than obviously those who have selected the virtual model, has been very successful, and And I'm going to say that that success is due to the great work accomplished by our faculty and staff, our administrators. There were a lot of hours that were spent in planning and preparation prior to that full return, and it all paid, in my opinion, huge dividends. As we previously stated, we knew there would be COVID cases, and everyone has followed the plans and the protocols where there have been cases. Our local health department has been a great partner as they determine what individuals should be quarantined after schools provided pertinent information related to close contacts. We will continue to follow the health protocols of conducting temperature checks prior to entering the buildings, the wearing of face coverings, social distancing, the constant expectation of hand washing, and the continuous sanitizing from our custodians and other employees on our surfaces. We so appreciate the cooperation and support of our FSSD families in helping to mitigate the opportunity of the spread of this disease. We believe these protocols have helped to keep the number of cases at a low number. We will continue to monitor the COVID-19 data and the spread of the virus. We continue to review both the data in the county and locally. We will continue to provide weekly notification to our parents and employees, and will be transparent with information within the guidelines and compliance of both HIPAA and FERPA and any other confidentiality requirements that we face. Our feeding program update: in the past week, the USD said all summer food service program and seamless summer option waivers have been extended depending upon available funding. As a district, free breakfast and lunch may be served now, and they were served today to all children that wanted to participate. Information was sent out to our parents and the extended community by social media and Blackboard Connect calls. Pickup sites and times have been arranged for those families with children who are not FSSD students. At this time, free meal provisions are through December of this calendar year, but we are awaiting notice that this possibly could be extended through the end of the school year due to the hardships many have experienced through the COVID illness. Director of Schools Advisory Council: the members of the Director of Schools Advisory Council have been selected from each site. Our first meeting is scheduled for October the 15th. This advisory council is composed of an employee and an alternate from each school, representatives from the central office and also central office annex, FSSDEA, maintenance, landscaping, and transportation. These meetings offer opportunities to celebrate successes at each site and department, as well as to bring concerns and questions to the Director of Schools. Complaint managers for the FSSD: the Director of School has appointed the two associate directors or designee as complaint managers for the district in accordance with the Complaints and Grievance Policy 5.501. The FSSD student and teacher employee fall break will occur October the 5th through the 9th. The district offices will be closed as well during this time. Conferences and meeting updates have been sent to you by email for your responses. I also like to commend and thank all the board members for the participation in the Mid-Cumberland Regional meeting. It was a virtual meeting, but we had 100% participation, so thank you for that. The TSBA Leadership Conference and Annual Convention is November the 12th through the 15th, and as far as we know, that is still expected to be an in-person meeting. I've not heard any changes to that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any questions for Dr. Snowden on his report? Not updates, teaching and learning?
No, sir.
All right. Dr. Esslinger?
In your packet, you have your monthly human resource reports, financial reports, with also the sales tax collection report received for the month of August. Reflects a 5.1% increase over the same time period of last year. So that is a rather significant increase over that, so we're appreciative of that. That's all I've got.
Deuce, thank you. Board, any other announcements?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say that as we had this remote learning, I had the ability when my daughter was home to be home and listen to how She was going to school remotely via computer. And it was incredible to me to think how those teachers who were used to, for all those years, teaching in person, in a classroom, certain way, just like that switched over to being creative Zoom educators. And if you didn't see it, like I really had the pleasure of not being able to talk while it happened, not being able to talk to my daughter, but just watching it in a different room and just was impressed about how different people would engage the kids. So I just want to say that I don't know how people do that. And it wasn't just one teacher. I heard Dr. Reimer, and I heard other teachers do it differently, different skill sets, different way they do it. It's incredible. They made sure they kept people engaged. And just want to tell you, don't know how you do it. Blows me away. Very impressed. And it had to be stressful. You couldn't tell on those phone calls, on those Zoom meetings. So I just want to say, hopefully you administrators will take that back, that this one board member was there to hear his daughter online, and I was impressed. And I was skeptical, yet I can tell you now, I was impressed. So I just want to tell you, thank you administrators and teachers who made that happen.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I just want to say I've heard from many of my neighbors whose kids and children are back in school, and it's all been very positive. So it's always great to hear that from the people I live around. Their children are very excited to be in school. They've missed being in school, and the ones who are actually attending school, the ones who are home, have also been very positive about it as well.
Good. Well, last week we broke ground on the FSD Performing Arts Center and the Legacy Gallery, as well as the Poplar Grove Gym. So we look forward to those events occurring and taking place. It was a great day, and we were thankful to all who've worked on this project so far. And again, we look forward to that coming to fruition. Is there anything else from the board? Nothing else from the board? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.